My name is Christina G. I've been at the shelter a little over 5 months. I was employed by Alda Helvey in the garden club at the CISS, and I've been doing that for about 2 months now. I was born in Lafayette, Indiana, 1968. I lived here in Des Moines most of my life. I lived in Arizona for 8 years, then I came back to Des Moines in 1993, right after the floods. I've got an 18-year-old son. He'll be 19 at the end of this month. He's autistic, or Asperger's, same general thing, just very high functioning. He attends Grandview University, which is where I went when it was still college. We lived in Des Moines on the east side until I was 8 or 9, and then we moved to Ankeny, just west of John Deere, when it was still surrounded by cornfields. Dad bought an acreage, and I went to Catholic schools and went to Dowling High School until I was 16 and had to go to my first treatment center. I went to treatment when I was 16. I was court-ordered. I was then court-ordered to go to a halfway house in Ames, in which I got kicked out of. And then I moved in with my grandmother, who was more like a mom to me than my biological mom. And when the opportunity came to move to Tucson, Arizona, I went with her. And I came back here when I was 25. I came back here, I started working for the Animal Rescue League because I trained greyhounds and protection obedience dogs in Tucson, and I applied for the Animal Rescue League and got the job immediately after coming back. It really got to me. Part of my job was to rehabilitate quote-unquote mean dogs or fear biters or whatever, and get them to the point where they could be adoptable. But, you know, every day we were putting animals to sleep. It wasn't a no-kill shelter at the time. Every day we were putting animals to sleep, and my boss and I would go to the bar nightly just to be able to deal with it. And to be honest, there's a lot of gray area. My drinking and drug use escalated. I was living with a friend of mine who actually owned a bar downtown, and every day I was going to work with her, helping her, and she drank all day and so did I. So the next several years are a blur, I'll be honest. Between crack cocaine and alcohol, it did a number on me. And I was clean and sober actually for 10 years. No drugs, no alcohol for 10 years, raising my son. I relapsed and went back to jail 2 days before his 10th birthday, where I signed guardianship over to my father. It was a travel. I discharged from Mitchellville Prison, ICIW, October 14th, 2016, and went to stay with some friends. And they were smoking crack early one morning and asked me to help pay off a drug dealer. I refused, and basically got kicked out of the house and had no other place to go. So I ended up here, which has turned into a godsend, actually.
My name is Alda Helvey, and I am a trainer here at Central Iowa Shelter and Services. We have a training program that lasts about 2 months, and I usually rotate 5 people in and 5 people out during that time. One of those people is Christina G, and I've known her for about 3 months. She is super. She's a really hard worker, and you know, if you tell her what to do and talk through the project, she always follows up and does it exactly the way that it should be done. She's really good about working with other people, and she's good about asking questions, and I wish I could keep her here forever. The connection with the Winterset Farms, it's Food for Good is the title of the farm. I made that acquaintance through Melissa O'Neill, and Scott Veach is the farm owner. He grows about 200,000 pounds of food every year that he donates to Food Bank of Iowa. And he needed people, so we took our trainees out there in the rain, in the cold, in the heat, in the mud, to help him with his farm. She came with us many times. I think every time we went out there, she came with us, and Scott observed how well she worked and interacted and followed directions, and he wanted to hire her full time. So her last day here through the program was the first day of her new job. She's just such a good role model for everybody else, including me. She's just a stick-to-it person. She doesn't give up. And I think the one thing that I've learned from her is how to have courage when you're discouraged. I think Christina brings a lot of skills, no matter where she goes to work. She's going to bring a lot of skills with her and a positive attitude, and she sticks to things. I mean, what more can you ask for? She's fabulous.
I'm not saying it's easy when I see people in here that I know from, back in the day, but I've managed to avoid that. So partially me, and partially people like Alda, Tommy, Dee, LaToya, Amber. The staff has been wonderful. Melissa, the CEO, has been very supportive. And, I got to thank God for Alda for giving me a chance, and to prove myself. And now I've got a job waiting for me in Winterset. I'm excited for a new beginning. I'm kind of scared because I really don't know any better down there, but, change can be good. I'm hoping. I like seeing results. I like being able to plant something that's microscopic almost, and a couple weeks later seeing the fruits of my labor, so to speak. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I always did in the workforce, even when I was, doing the drugs and drinking heavily. I like seeing results. When I worked with dogs and cats, I loved seeing this scared fear biter come around from love and reassurance and stuff. And that's time in the garden. I like seeing that I'm doing something positive. And the person who I'm going to work for donates most of what he grows. And it's just, I spent so much of my life taking that it feels good to work on trying to give back.